Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of Lack of Focus, episode 36. It's a small worlds after all. I am your host, Ed Horn, and alongside me tonight, one Mr. Kris Sheriff. Kris, how's it going, my friend?
Oh, good, thanks, Ed.
So we had some folks lined up. We thought we might have a return of a previous host, but unfortunately, we're still under the weather on that one. And then we thought we had a special guest, and then that one left out. So you get just the two of us tonight, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm going to call him out, man. Bruno's been messaging me since he.
I wasn't going to go that far to call him out.
I'm going to call. He listens as well, so I'm going to call him out. Right, hassling me all the time. Oh, please, Kris, please. Your podcast is so good. Can I come back on? So I learn how to up my own game, and I'm like, Bruno, man. There's only so much charity to go around. Let me work on Ed. I'll see what I can do. And I've been nagging Ed for weeks and weeks to finally let Bruno.
Me at all hours of the night. Well, I was hoping for the battle of the really cool accents. We had the French Canadian accent, we had the UK accent, and then we have my poor Western Pennsylvania accent going in on that one. I wanted to see which one was going to win out, but unfortunately that fell through. But that's okay. Tonight's main topic, we didn't actually get the opportunity due to the fact that I skipped a show and Kris had to carry the weight for both of us that week. We didn't really get a chance to talk about Wave 5 and some of the ships that we were really interested in. We did touch on the Nantucket a little bit last wave, but we really want to get into the other ships that finally came out we get the opportunity to talk to. And of course, we're going to cover just a hair. Worlds Weekend is coming up in podcasts of future past. We may have made a huge deal out of Worlds and list building, and that's just not us. But that doesn't mean that we're not interested. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to have it up on the big screen whenever we get to the finals. FFG does a fantastic job for that, so we will kind of get into some of that stuff. And that's kind of about it. I mean, I know you probably tossed a question or two out there, but I think it might be a relatively short show tonight. But who knows? We can go off the topic for all we want. So. Yep. We were talking about this off show, but let's go off into what we've been flying with lately. It's been a whole big fat zero for both of us.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I don't think I've played a game since our last show, because last week we got snowed in.
Snowed in by a lot.
Yeah, the snow started coming down, so I didn't make it in on the Friday, and then I didn't make it in Saturday either. I was going to play some games on Tuesday, but again, it snowed again. So,
jeez.
Yeah.
How much snow did you guys get?
First one, it was gone by Sunday. Like, dropped Friday night and was gone Sunday.
And that first one was like 6 inches, though.
It was a big drop, yeah. It was good. I like it. I don't mind that first snow. I just don't want to be on the roads. And we hadn't got winter tyres put on the car yet. We're only getting them put on in 2 weeks' time. It's Thanksgiving on Monday, so.
It's your Thanksgiving.
Real Thanksgiving,
Real Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Just alienate all of our listener base. It's fine.
It's okay. We got football on our Thanksgiving. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I did. So X-Wing wise, I did go through and build 8 squads, and I'm comfortable that they will all fit in my case. So I might actually go for a 9th. It's going to be more on how many cards fit in the card pack. It's in the deck holder.
Now that's updating with the stuff that came out with Wave 5, correct?
Yeah. What I've been trying to do is build at least 7 lists that I want to play them all at least once on the table, and then I just keep running them, and if something else comes up, I'll add it in. But kind of just tweak those lists a little bit so that I don't have to keep, take all the cards into the store or build a new list every week. Just do it all in one go, hit it hard, and then it's done. I managed to play all 8 lists that I had in there from last time. And there's new ships out, so I figured, why not reset? We'll do it like a post-Wave 5 thing. So, got some interesting ones that I'll talk about later as we get closer to the main topic. But
yeah, as we get closer to that one. I had stuff that I wanted to do. I will take full blame on this one. Chad did give me a full schedule on when he was going to be free. He gave me from X day to Y day. And here in the U.S., Halloween weekend is a really kind of a big deal. I don't know how big it is in other countries. I feel like it's a huge deal here. So We did the pumpkin patch with the kids, and we went out and decorated decorated the front porch. My kids went super creepy this year for decorations. They went serial killer's basement. So instead of hanging spider webs and lights, we went with cheesecloth, metal chains, and I was literally working with my son to see which drill bit was the right drill bit to drill through a human skull so I could put it on a meat hook. That's a great conversation, great bonding between your kids putting human skulls on meat hooks. And then we hung like these Edison bulbs off there, so it's got that real creepy kind of there's a serial killer basement kind of look to it. It's really good. I'm really happy the way it turned out.
Well, the closest thing I've got to interacting with Halloween so far was in September. All of the pumpkins were outside the Walmart, and I turned into crazy old man muttering at the universe. Like, are you kidding me? It's still September. How are even pumpkins out now? You wouldn't buy one now. It'll be rotted by the time Halloween comes around.
Well, and we didn't carve ours, but we definitely got. Because the pumpkin patch, I mean, it's a huge deal. The kids get to go out into the field and pick the ones, and then you overpay through the nose for pumpkins that you get at Walmart. But I mean, it's a whole experience, and they got to have apple cider, and they got to do all the fun stuff and go through this big corn maze. But yeah. So ours are sitting on the front porch. They are not carved. I'm not going to carve them until the week before Halloween, because you're right. They're just going to rot away in the meantime.
Yeah. It's not too bad here because you get like flash frozen, so they last a bit longer. It's fine.
That must be nice. So long story short, I did have like a schedule for Chad to go and get some games in, but it just fell through. And through my own stupidity, I just flat out forgot which days were open. And I'm like, I think he's off on Wednesday. I'll go up on Wednesday and see him. He was like, yeah, no, I work. And I'm like, damn it, sorry. And then Kris and I did try to get a Vassal game, and I complete. Because of how busy the weekend was, and I recognize I shouldn't allow one show to interrupt the other one, I never got the opportunity to record any of my videos for my YouTube channel for my Magic thing, so I ended up recording during the week, which I hate doing, because it means that I'm literally recording every single day until yesterday to make sure that I have all my videos recorded for the week, because I do 3 videos a week for that channel, so yeah. It sucked up all my free time, so I would have normally have had time to be able to do X-Wing. I did not. Now, here's the upside. My wife is going on a mud run on Saturday. It's supposed to be 38 degrees on Saturday, too, so I feel really bad for her. But what that does mean is I'm going to have some free time over the weekend so we can try to squeeze in a game there.
Yeah. Well, I know I've been really just every night's been pretty full for like the last 10 days or something. So when I messaged you, I think that was the only time I could have played, and that's only because something else fell through. So
that's good. Well, and I've started this other thing too. I don't know if I even mentioned this to you. Like I'm getting to the point now where I feel like I'm getting older. I hate admitting it. My brain has real difficulties accepting how old this body's getting. But I've decided that I know I'd mentioned this in like my New Year's resolutions kind of thing, but I'm really kind of going back on my original New Year's resolution, which was to get more exercise in my life. So my wife got me onto this app called Step Bet, which is basically an app that says, hey, you're going to spend $40 to join a group of people, and you have weekly goals. If you hit all your weekly goals, you stay in the game. If you don't hit your weekly goals, you're out of the game. And then at the end of 6 weeks, 8 weeks, everyone splits the money. So I've set myself personal goals for walking and getting a number of steps in. Now, because I'm a software developer, I sit behind a desk all day long. I was actually kind of horrified to learn that there were weeks that I were averaging 2,500 steps a day, which is stupid. So I set myself a personal goal of 10,000 steps a day. So some of the other things I'm doing is like right after dinner, after the kids are down, I got them out of the bath, I hit the treadmill for a half hour, 45 minutes and watch YouTube videos or whatever. So that's
what you want to do. Set the camera on the treadmill and do like magic card breakdowns whilst you're walking on the treadmill.
Oh, that'd be super fun.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea, actually. I might have to think about that. But so there's that other part to it too. So the upside is like this is TMI, I'm completely aware. Every time I get up to go to the bathroom, I then do like a lap around the building. So what that has done, that's taken me from 2,500 steps a day to just 5,000 steps a day coming out of work. Mm. So that just means I just need to get another 5,000 steps in, which is about 35, 40 minutes on the treadmill, and I'm at my 10,000 every day. So that has been. It's weird to me because I've not really been the exercise guy since out of high school. I've gotten kind of soft and squishy in places I wish I wasn't. But now it's gotten to the point, like, after 28 days, you form a habit. Now it's just become like I just constantly think about, oh, I need to hit the treadmill. I'm constantly watching my steps, making sure that I'm closing my exercise rings. And so, yeah, that's been fun. So that's been an interesting change since I didn't get a chance to talk about that last time.
I've been trying to do little bits and pieces, but I'm terrible. I'll hit something really hard and be like really good for a couple of weeks, and I'll get bored and then do something else, and it's fine. One day I'll
Do you know
die,
what it did it
and
for
then
me?
I'll let it fall off.
You know what did it for me? It's the competition. It's the fact that I gave them $40 to play this game, and I don't want them to keep it. Yeah. I don't think it has anything more to do than just that. Like, no, I want my $40 back. So each game lasts for like 6 weeks. So I got like $12. I recognize that in 6 weeks, that's not a huge return on $40, but at least I didn't give them $40.
Yeah.
So every game you put $40 in, and then you get whatever splits out. So for me, it's just a matter of like, I just don't want to lose $40. I realize it's petty, but if it's petty enough that it gets my ass on the treadmill, I'm okay with it.
That's the best kind of motivation.
Exactly. The only other thing, at least remotely close to gaming wise, I have going on, my son and I started an interesting conversation a few weeks ago where he was really interested in getting into some retro gaming. So what sparked this conversation is the the Zelda 2 from the original Nintendo got a Switch release. And I said, well, it's like $60 for the game. And I'm like, Gabe, for that price, you could actually go play the original Zelda 2 instead of that one. He's like, well, that sounds like a good idea. So we started on this conversation of building a retro device, like, go out and get one of those Raspberry Pis and kind of do a whole retro gaming gig thing. Mm. And I kind of like the idea, but he's like, no, I want to play on the old hardware. And I'm like, okay. So I started looking around. I asked him where he wanted to start. He's like, well, where did you start whenever you started gaming? And I'm like, dude, I'm
nostalgia is a terrible thing, man. Don't do
it. Oh
it.
my God. It's too late. That ship has already set sail. So, I went and found myself an Atari 2600 that is on its way with about 25 games coming with it. And my son is super excited to sit down and start playing some old Atari games. So I actually am going to do something on my channel. Like, it's one of the things that it is old guy gaming, and it's going to be an old gaming system. So when it gets here, I'm going to do an unboxing. This is what I got. This is how you hook it up to a modern TV kind of thing. And I'm strangely really excited to start playing some old Atari
Let me
games.
know once you start hitting like NES and stuff like that, because I know we've got a lot of them in the store and things. I've got a few connections for you.
Do you?
Get some stuff shipped down. Yeah.
I was going to ask you too if there's anything floating around in the Atari market as well, but that's the next thing is like, so like I went super cheap. Like I went with an old Sears like the Telegames one, like not the official Atari ones. It's just the Atari clones that Sears put out. And like for the top loader NES ones, they're relatively inexpensive. So like now I'm gonna be like, all right, now we got to get original hardware to be able to actually play on these old games. So that's sort of gaming related.
That counts.
One of the games I got was Empire Strikes Back. Does that count? It's Star Wars related, so it's Star Wars and gaming. It kind of works out. That old one with the walkers.
I bought a joystick while you were like incognito in a way. I bought a joystick so I can play X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Did you find a way to get it to run on Windows 10, or are you just running it in like in compatibility mode?
It runs. You can get it on Steam.
Oh, snap. Like the old original ones?
Yep.
Oh, done. Totally. Now I'm gonna have to go. Like, you're right. Now I'm gonna have to go get a joystick for it. I have a USB like PlayStation style controller. I don't know if that would work. I don't know how I'd feel about flight controls on the thumbsticks as opposed to the actual hand.
So the only problem with X-Wing versus TIE Fighter is it'll only read one USB input.
Oh,
so
boo.
I've got a joystick and throttle, but you've got to set up the throttle to be like binary inputs because it won't do the analog inputs from 2 because of the actual game itself. So
doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah,
I'm surprised if they ported it over for Steam, they wouldn't have corrected for that, but I guess it is kind
But
of.
I think it's like deep in the code type thing that
Yes.
it only has it reads the multiple axes, but obviously the joystick has its own throttle thing, and then there's a big throttle control.
Oh, gotcha.
So all of the buttons still can be mapped to do stuff. It's just that if you push the throttle all the way forwards and all the way back, I can set it up to increase in like 15% intervals or whatever the hotkey was, but I can't let it have analog control to be 0 to 100.
Oh, so
that's
you can't,
really
like,
frustrating.
You can't back it down.
Yeah.
Oh, remember? Oh, that game brings back some memories too. Being able to like, oh, I'm gonna put my shields to the front, shields to the front. Oh crap, I'm getting shot from behind. Move the shields to the back.
Well, me and Evie watched A New Hope last night. Oh, was it? Yeah.
Ooh.
No, Tuesday night. So we were like reinforced front deflector screens. Yeah, so good. She was really into it as well. Got scared at all like the monsters and was like really worried when the garbage compactor's closing up. Like, oh no!
At least you did it right, and you started off with the right movie.
I think we watched A Phantom Menace when she was like 1, but she wasn't old enough to watch stuff then. So
I think I've shared this story a couple of times, but I'm going to reiterate for those that haven't heard it. One of the cool, admittedly, as a parent, I feel like you should start with episode 4 and work your way, chronologically by time when those movies came out. That having been said, one of my youngest son's earliest memories was whenever Force Awakens came out, and we were living in Columbus at the time, and the 501st were there. So there were 35, 50 stormtroopers. Like, because when you went into this movie theater, the movie theater was in this mall. So you had all these stormtroopers lining the stairs as you were going up. And then, of course, you had everyone that was in cosplay. You had all the people that were dressed up as Jedi and Rebel pilots and stuff like that. That's his first memory of going to a Star Wars movie. I'm jealous because I don't have that. Like, obviously, I was a baby. I do have vague memories of seeing Return of the Jedi in the theater, but it wasn't anything to me at the time.
Yeah.
And I was by the time, Phantom Menace came out, I was already an adult, so it's not the same thing. So it's always cool to me, like, that is his first memory of going to a Star Wars movie, even if it was The Force Awakens.
Yeah, all of my Star Wars memories as a kid are all like toy related. So like
mine too.
Opening up the Millennium Falcon and putting the stickers on for the engines and the scorch marks and everything. Or I remember finding like Palpatine in I think the Star Wars like John Menzies or like Toy Masters or something in Wigan, and it's like it closed down in like before, like in the 80s. I'm sure it still closed down then and like went out of business. But like just finding the original packaging and ripping them open and not knowing how much of a fool I was.
Or you could sit down and think, like, I remember having like the Darth Vader head and the C-3PO case, and you had all the figures. Whenever you open them, had a sticker, so whenever you can put them in the sticker, this is where they belonged. And
one of my friends had the Darth Vader head, but I never had the cases for them. The only ones I used to have that my friends didn't really have were the what was it that I can't even think. I had all like the like Empire battle stuff, so I had like the exploding cannons and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
Because a lot of people had like the parts got lost so easily.
Oh god, yeah.
I didn't. No one I knew in Wigan had a TIE fighter because like we were all poor, Kenny, poor. And like they went, but like we all had X-wings and stuff like that. And one of my friends had the GR90. Okay, I remember that. The transport.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So we'd like sit the figures down on the cross-legged and all of that stuff.
I remember.
It was good.
I had the. I was blessed enough that I had the AT-AT. And it was the one that you had to stick your hand in, and there was a button in there, and you could move the head around, and you pushed the button, and the cannons all went.
I think I had like 3, because I had one, but it didn't have like the guns anymore. And then the flop down door broke, so I got another one set. So we just used to go like car boot sales, and I'd buy them and then like build one complete one from the others.
Out of all the pieces.
Yeah.
I think I shattered my first one because I can't tell you the number of times that Luke Skywalker knocked that damn thing over by tying the legs up. Like, oh, boom, there it goes. And of course, it's onto a hardwood floor and it's shattering. And again, as an adult, I'm like, why? You could have just kept it in the box. Do you have any idea what that's worth now? But we had a lot of fun with them.
Yeah, that was worth it.
It was totally worth it. And non-X-Wing related.
Is that our flight deck then?
I would think, unless you have anything else you want to cover, like I said, I'm just giddy about playing Empire Strikes Back again on the old Atari whenever it comes in. I do think I need to go out, and so this is again, it's interesting to me that my son right now is currently upstairs playing on the PlayStation 4. He's playing Rainbow Six with his friends on PlayStation, and he's super excited to play an old video game system to the point that he's like, well, shouldn't we get an old TV? Like an old CRT TV to see it the way that it was supposed to. Like, it's interesting to me. But when he explains it to me, he's like, think about it. He's like, Minecraft's a huge game. The graphics suck on it. Nobody cares because it's a good game. There's a whole bunch of these indie games that are on Steam that are super cheap, but people love them because, it's not the graphics, it's how good the game is. Like, I can't even think of, Undertale is like another one of those ones that's got like old, like Nintendo style graphics, but it was like everyone acclaimed that game. So it's interesting to me to see someone of his age of 14 at this point in time wanting to play a game 40 years old. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
Except nostalgia is a bitch, man.
Oh my God.
It'll get you. The only ones I'll still play are, Zelda, Secret of Mana.
Ooh, there's a good one.
There's a couple more. Me and Joel play Super Street Fighter and have at each other. Then I'll jump to PlayStation. I'll play Vandal Hearts, Vagrant Story. So all of the Japanese RPGs, basically.
Yeah. I went through my RPG. Like, of course, I'm looking forward to when we do get to the next stage of this one, where we're going to be getting like the Final Fantasies. I'm actually debating the Master System getting Original Phantasy Star too.
We were watching was it E3 when they did the Final Fantasy trailers and everything. Oh my
God, I am so on board. On board with that game.
I was on with some of the crates in Discord chatting about it and everything. And so spoilers for Final Fantasy VII. This is, because I have to say this now, but so if you've not played Final Fantasy VII and are looking forward to buying it, just skip ahead like 30 seconds.
Yeah, plug up your ears now.
I said something about I just like, why would you pick the one who, like, why would you pick Aethra as your date when she dies? And it's like Name was like, fucking hell, Kris. I said no spoilers. I'm like,
wait,
dude, man, the game's like 20 odd years old. How is this a spoiler?
How is it a spoiler? Exactly.
But I was like, yeah, fair one. He did post it earlier on the Discord and I just missed it. So I felt really bad, but yeah. So Final Fantasy VII spoilers still being a thing, man.
So he's genuinely did well, and it's interesting to me how Square's releasing this, because they're releasing it in chapters, and I'm kind of curious as to how that works. Am I gonna have to pay for every damn chapter, or is every piece going to be DLC? How do they break that up? Like, is this game just going to be a continuous?
It's like with discs, isn't it? It's 3 discs as it is,
right? So how much bigger do they intend to make the damn game?
No, it's in from memory. Okay, so this is even more spoilerish now. I think the first disc runs until
end of Midgard.
Yeah, the end of Midgard, and then Midgard's destroyed, so you can't go back in there. So, like, that would be a full chapter, I would expect. If I was going to do it like that, I'd make that its own story.
But they're going to make that 3 discs.
Well, there's a lot more data going on them. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and I'm still iffy about how they've revamped the combat system to be a more modern RPG combat system. There's apparently you can
still turn it into turn-based and play it old-fashioned way.
If that's the case, I'm so fucking on board with that game. Update the graphics. I'm totally on board.
I'm still playing. I'm playing through again at the moment. I've got it on my PSP.
Oh, the original 7?
Yeah, I hacked a PSP and did the thing, so I can just play all my PlayStation games on that now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's okay. It's not illegal, though, because I have an original copy upstairs, so it's just a backup for that didn't get destroyed.
I have my original copy upstairs too, but it doesn't. The PS4 is not crossword compatible, and I'm going to have to go out and buy like a PS1 or a PS2 to be able to play it. But I still have it. Yeah. I only saved 2 games. There were 2 games that I saved from my original PS1 that I said I'm going to keep these forever because they're great games. It was Final Fantasy VII. It was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And when they ported Symphony of the Night over for the PlayStation 4, totally, absolutely spent the money on that. And I played the crap out of it for 6 weeks straight.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There's nostalgia trip done. I think we should probably move on before everyone lambasts us more than they're already going to. You and your it'll be a short show.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that. All right, so let's get into the main topic. There's no news. I mean, aside, like I said, I'm looking at the news page right now. The only thing that I saw was the, oops, I closed the wrong section. We did see some news on, what's the other epic ship? I should know this.
The Tantive, we spoke about it last time.
No, not the Tantive. The Sea Rock.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're like, it's epic, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, it's not. So they did a live stream, spoke about stuff, nothing really major. It was at an AMA, but all of the questions got eaten up by people asking, can you talk about future releases? And the answer is no, we can't talk about future releases.
Like, why do you ask that? Like, honestly.
It would be cool if you made a Phantom 1 that'll fold up and fit in the Ghost now that it docks. But yeah, it's a cool idea, but we can't talk about future releases. What about if you do Vader and Defender here? That'd be cool, but we can't talk about future releases. What about if you did cool, but future release? And I'm just like, ask them something they can talk about.
Well, God, and that's where I think for that kind of stuff they need mods. Like what they need to do is like, it's a future release question, we can't answer that question, and then like not get that onto the stream. Like it's you're right.
They're on a limited time frame, and like there were at least 5 answers were boiled down to we can't talk about future releases.
Yeah, see, and what they need to do is they need to go back to these old episodes of this podcast we once heard of, once called Nova Squadron Radio, that when we had developers on, like, Frank, and we had everyone on, and this is a peek behind the curtain, I sent those guys a list of the questions I wanted to ask to ensure that didn't happen. Because it's boring to hear them say, yeah, no, we can't talk about it. So
what really bothered me now, and this is a little bit of a call out, so maybe it's bad form, but is it Krabok or something like that? It's got a YouTube channel, he does unboxing stuff.
Yeah, and he's a big Epic fan too.
Yeah, he's like got a bigger channel than I have. He should know better, man. He should know how to play the game. And he got like 3 questions asked, all of which were like, we can't talk about future releases. I'm like, you're killing me.
Like you get 3 shots at it, not 1, but 3 shots at it, and you waste all of them on stuff that going into that they can't answer.
I remember when I was taking questions live at Gamma a couple of years ago to ask the FFG, and and people were asking, ask him about the Superstar Destroyer, because he announced that something big was going to be coming for Armada, so ask him if it's a Superstar Destroyer. I'm like, okay. And loads of people messaged me, so I know the answer to this question is that you can't answer this question, but is the big news for Armada the Superstar Destroyer? So that'll be cool, but can't talk about future releases. But thank you. And thank you and sorry.
Thank you and I'm sorry.
Just get a grip, people. I don't know, man. I don't know.
So to spin it in a positive way means that people are super excited about their game. They're really interested in what's coming out next.
They're so excited that they lose all common sense and grounding.
All right, that is a fair argument. So so the Sea Rock's coming out. This is the only Epic ship I do not know.
I don't own one either, but I probably will get one.
I might. It looks cool. It's one of those things I always meant to go get. I just never got around to it.
If I look, though, I don't have any room on my scum shelf, but I don't think I could fit an Epic ship in there.
I don't think I would have to rearrange everything. I'd have to take all of my Season 2, Season 3 cardboard boxes that you won for those and fold them up so that I could lay it down on those. Do you remember those things?
Yeah, I use them for Arkham Horror LCG for storing my different class cards in.
I always wondered what their intent was. Was it intent to be like squad boxes? Like you put like your cards?
No one's gonna buy like what are they 80 card? No, it'd be like 160 card boxes or something.
Yeah,
and no one's gonna buy 160 X-Wing cards, are they? That's crazy talk.
Oh wait, they might do those individual card boxes. Anyway, my point being, in the early days of the store kits and stuff like that, they gave away some prizes that were meh, like the little dice bags. I thought those were kind of cool. But yeah, the cardboard boxes. But I lovingly display my cardboard boxes that came out of those early store kits.
Oh, look at this one.
Oh, look, there you go. There you go.
Oh, Ahsoka. This one's a Destiny one.
Oh, that's a Destiny one?
So you won't have this one?
No, I won't have that one. And I'd have to actually dig to go get them because I put them in the back. But like they had ones with the Falcon on, the B-Wings, A-Wings.
TIE Bomber.
TIE Bomber.
Yeah.
I've got that one back there too.
Yeah.
Yep, right there. So anyway, so the Seahawks coming out. Again, it's cool and epic, but I didn't it's also scum. So all right, so that was news. Let's get on to the main topic. So there's we'll do worlds after.
Yeah, I think we'll do talk about Wave 5 first, and then we can summarize the meta for worlds and stuff.
Yeah. So we've got a bunch of ships that came out that we didn't get a chance to talk about. I know we put definitely a large amount of talking space into the Nantek last time we talked.
Yeah. And
we completely ignored every other ship that came out for Wave 5, like completely, because nobody was talking about them. Nobody was squawking about them. It was the one ship and one ship only. So I think we've had our fill of the Nantek, but let's move on to some of the other ships. The one that I'm super excited of, for the stupidest reason, is the Republic Y-Wing. And my reasons for it are as follows. In what's the game? I can't think of it. It's on the PlayStation 4, Battlegrounds, or Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I never play the first-person shooter, gun, shoot 'em up, walk around and like swing lightsabers because I'm no good at them. I've never been any good. Like the whole Fortnite thing and Apex, like I'm horrible at shooting games on a console. I need a mouse and keyboard, and then I can shoot. So the only thing that I ever buy Battlefront for is for the Starfighter battles, which should not surprise anyone that's known me for any amount of time or listening to it, because one of my favorite games, we just got done talking about it, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, all those games, like I loved the flight simulator ones. And they did a really good job on the flight sim side of those. And one of my favorite ships to fly was when I got to fly the Rebel Y-Wing, or the Republic Y-Wing. Because it's a big, beefy, tanky ship that you get to fire a whole bunch of missiles off of. It's just oodles of fun. So to get the opportunity to actually fly it in X-Wing is going to be a ton of fun. How's it going to fly in the game? I don't know. And I don't know that I necessarily care. I like the idea of just loading it down with some bombs and missiles and just throwing it at someone. So I'd like to see like a squad of like 3 or 4 of those with some bombs and missiles on them. I think it'll be a ton of fun.
Yeah, so I did include a Republic Y-Wing in one of my squads.
Oh, there you go.
It was an evolution of my Anakin and Padme squad that I was running that had Tucker and an Arc in it. I basically dropped the Arc, replaced it with a Red Squadron bomber, added in the ion cannon turret and seismic charges. So I keep 2 arcs, but I can like have them at different angles. A little bit of control with the ion, and then seismics to try and clear out bombs when needed. Gives me a 1 point extra bid than I was previously running as well. So it's all it costs me is I go down to a small base and one hull point.
Any thoughts on putting Ahsoka on it? Because that was one of the, mostly because I just love the idea of having you running her. She's one of my favorite characters. She's 12 points.
She's so bad. I don't even know if she's bad, but it just feels bad. That, get in. I can do a red focus action even if I'm stressed. Woo! You know what action? You know action's never red? Focus.
But But this is after you've shot, right? It's after you execute a maneuver. So you can still...
Yeah.
It'd be like doubling up, so you could do a target lock and a red focus.
Well, no. So if she does it on herself, she would... This is before a perform action step.
Oh, and it's only range 1 to 3. It's not range 0. I didn't catch that.
So she can't do it on herself.
Oh.
So it's only for other ships. So you spend her force to give somebody else. So it's, I'd say, a poor man's coordinate, but you're paying 12 points for it. So.
Yeah. It's actually okay. So maybe you're right. Okay, so I missed the range 0 to 3 because in my mind it was I'm going to target lock and then spend the force to focus so that I can have a target lock and focus. That was my thought process at the time. I'm clearly wrong. So no Ahsoka.
Yeah. So my list is Anakin with R4, predictive shot, calibrated laser targeting, comes in at 70 points.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Padme with R2C4, which is the spend and evade token for a calculate, effectively. And then Tucker with nothing, and then that Y-Wing. So 2 initiative 2s, loads of things to try and trigger Tucker's ability so he can get like double mods or focus evade, stuff like that. And I think it'll do better than the ARC version into Sunfac and Vultures, but that was the only thing. I wanted to try it out and see how it does. Well, we'll see. I don't know.
I'm still... I keep looking at that dial, though. Oh...
The
it's
really
got a
good
Y-Wing dial. I mean...
Well, you don't have the one Banks is blue is the only change.
Yeah.
But, like, this guy is a 41-point generic. I never need to do anything. I never need to... I shouldn't need to K-turn. I shouldn't need to barrel roll.
Yeah, no, you're absorbing shots and throwing out lead. That's it.
I don't know. So one of the other lists I did, I actually took expert handling, which is I don't think I've ever used in second edition, but we'll get to that. So that was you being excited about the Republic Y-Wing.
That was me being excited about the Republic Y-Wing simply because it was in a video game that I really enjoyed, and I want to fly it just for the fun of flying it.
So the only other Republic squad I made, this is the faction I actually doubled up on in my case, and the squad name is Stupid Squad, I think. Is that the right one? Yeah. And I just want to see if I can win a game with this. It is Anakin Skywalker with R2 Astromech, Afterburners, Delta 7B, and Supernatural Reflexes for 126 points.
Good lord.
And then Rick Olay with Collision Detector, R2 Astromech, and Duke for 59 points and a 15-point bid. So I want to fly 2 ships and just see if I can run away enough, regenning enough hit points that I don't lose. So,
all you have to do is take 1 ship off the board and just run away.
Yeah, just see if I can actually pull it off. You know, it'll be okay, I'm sure.
It'll be fine. All right,
it won't be fine.
It won't be. Some of the other ships that came out, the Punishing One. Let's get into the scum side of it because they got 2 ships.
They did get 2 ships.
The Punishing One and the Seek, the M1A. I've never been excited about the M1A. I'm less excited about it in second edition. I recognize it's supposed to fill that role of so here's the problem. It's supposed to semi-fill that role of the low-cost, high-agility ship, TIE Fighter-esque. But they have access
to
medium. The Z.
So I think of it more like an A-Wing now than a filler ship.
Yeah.
It's something that I think you take it for a purpose. So like one of my friends has been flying Gurry and 3 Seeks with ion cannons.
Oh.
And that's a good amount of control, but Gurry's got to do a lot of work.
Yeah. That's a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah. So when you choose to fire the ions. It's like, well, you're only going to do 1 damage to me. So yeah, you can ion me. Like, you can keep ioning this ship and you'll walk it off the board. That's good. I hope that you like win the game off that, because the rest of my squad is actually going to decimate you. So I don't know.
None of the like Sirisu was okay, but at 40 points,
Sunny Binder's fun because of like the weird interactions and how it works.
Oh yeah,
but so theoretically, if you take HLC on Sunny Binder and roll 4 blanks, you get to add a blank. Then you can re-roll with your target lock, and if you roll into 5 hits, you get to add a 6th hit.
Okay, yeah, but that's a huge what if. But you're right, I suppose in theory it could happen.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sunny Binder's fun. I don't know what to tell you. So I did do a scum list, but it's more of a post Wave 5 scum list rather than a taking stuff from Wave 5 scum list. So I think what actually happened is that Sunfact reminded everyone that tractors are good fun.
Good fun?
Yeah. So I've got my no Sunfact tractor fun list. It's 199 points. I have 2 Jakku Gunrunners with no upgrades. Then I have Lats Razi with Ketsu Ono. So Lats is at the start of the engagement phase, I can choose a ship at range 1 and spend a lock that I have on it to give it a tractor token.
Okay.
And then Ketsu is at the start of the end phase, you may choose 1 ship at range 0 to 2 in your firing arc. If you do, that ship does not remove its tractor tokens.
So you're using it to continuously drop down the.
So Sunfact like comes within range 1 of me. I've got him target locked. He ensnares to get rid of his tractor token. I go, oh, look, buddy, I don't want it. Take that back. And you know what? You can keep it. Because then next turn he can't hand it off. And like, say that the Sunfact plays sensible and doesn't want to like use his pinpoint tractor array because he knows this can happen. My Jakku Gunrunners can go and give him tractor tokens instead.
Yep.
So it was just let's see if I can make tractors work for Scum again. And then my final ship is just Fenrir with Fearless, because I still need something to actually win me the game.
Yeah, you need something to actually start to do something with.
Yeah. So it's like 130 points worth of running around and just tractoring things and trying to have fun. And then Fenrir to try and win me the game. So that's my Scum list.
The other ship that came out for the Scum, my how the mighty have fallen. The Jumpmaster 5000, the punishing one. Is anybody flying this poor thing? I feel like of all the ships that got beat by the Nerf hammer hard enough, the poor Jumpmasters got CTE at this point, because I mean, it's almost unflyable.
So I think I told this story last week. I can't remember. I definitely told it on on Sea to Sky podcast when I was on that.
Oh, we should touch on that a little bit later too.
The weekend this stuff came out, everyone in Calgary, there were like 3 Jumpmasters on the table and 0 Nantex. At local game night, I'm like, oh my god, it's all so wholesome. I'm gonna die. Like, what are you doing? Someone open some fac and put him on the table quick before I have like an aneurysm. But yeah, Dengar's fine. Like Dengar with title is 64 points for a 3 attack die primary. Initiative 6 ship with 9 health, 2 agility.
Oh jeez.
It's pretty cheap. Just You never need to turn right anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
If you ever need to turn right, you swoop to a left and then clear it.
It is true. I feel bad for like I feel like of all the victims of first edition into second edition, this is clearly one of the biggest ones. I'm cheating a little bit and looking at MetaWing just to kind of see how competitively it's played. It's in less than 1% of all the squadrons on on MetaWing. It's been in 8 tournaments, and it's only ever run the 2. It's only Dengar. They're the only 2 appearances of this ship in small 14-player events, store events. Yeah. That's it. Nobody's running this.
Like, Manaru's still okay.
Still okay, I agree.
But the problem with Manaru now is that she is a full-on support ship.
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas in before, she could add damage and stuff as well. But
so we had an interesting conversation last week where we were talking about how this broken Nantak ship is, ruining the game, and everyone's going to quit playing X-Wing, and they're going to go over and play Warhammer, and no one's going to play X-Wing in 6 months. We had that conversation, and you had said something, and it's kind of your stock answer, and I completely agree with it. How much can you fix something before it becomes stupid?
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite of that same coin, in my opinion. So you clearly have a ship, and it suffers from a lot of things. I think we're not seeing a ton of the large base ships to start off with in second edition, which to me tells me something's wrong. That they got something wrong with large base ships. Now, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what they got wrong. Is it simply because of the fact that they don't have the turrets that they used to have? And that maybe the nerf to how turrets work kind of sucked the life completely out of large base ships? This ship never had a turret in the past, but it was a gunship is really what it was in the past. So then the question becomes so how do you fix something like this that's broken in the other direction? Is kind of the road I'm going down. So clearly you have a ship that is vastly underperforming. You can't make it 22 points.
You can't make it. Spoke about this before because you can already fit 4 of them in a list with 6 points of upgrades each.
Yeah.
And it's stupidly resilient, but it's just not fun. I think there's a large combination of different things. I think they restricted access to boost on large base ships, which is what made them extremely powerful. They restricted which ones have got hard ones, which is another really strong move on them. But the large base ships have been neutered in a few different ways. Most of the hit points came down a little bit as well, I think. That might be me misremembering stuff now, but I kind of feel like people lost a hit point here and there.
Let me take a look.
Just
see if I can remember.
Just functionality-wise, like because you can't get reliability in your offense and defense that you used to be able to get, that leads you down the path of, well, if I can't have one reliable shot, it's probably better to have 2 unreliable ones.
Yeah.
And that's where small bases do that. Like, a lot of my list building now is how many 3 dice attacks can I fit in a list?
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because that's I remember. All right, so at one point in time, I was actually pretty good at this game. I wasn't the best, but I was pretty good at this game. And one of the best pieces of advice I ever got, I got from Ron Brannon. It was him explaining to me 4B1Z before he went and played up in your event, and explaining to me why it was a good list. And he's like, just look at the number of red dice that this list is throwing for how cheap it is. It's like, at some point in time, I'm going to hit something and I'm going to knock it off the board. And there's a lot to be said for that. So the poor Jumpmaster, it's only rolling with 2 attack dice for 44 points. I mean, if you get down to the bare bones, I recognize it's 9 hardened shields, but it's only rolling 2 attack dice.
If you want to take that example, let's have a quick look. Sorry, I'm just going to pull it up.
No, that's okay. I think it's an interesting conversation to have, though. Like, it's like, I don't know how you fix large base ships in general. But B, this specific large base ship, because if I go back to my analogy where I'm looking at metaing, I'm going to take a wild guess without looking ahead that it's going to be the bottom of the list for large base ships. That of all the 69 ships that are currently in the standard, oh no, I lied. Look at that. There are a couple of other large base ships that are above it. So you've got the YT-2400, which actually really surprises me because that used to be a gigantic ship. The Aggressor's down there. The
Aggressor's medium base now.
Oh, okay. So you're right. Thank you. The YT-1300, the custom. That's the what's the word I'm looking for? The Rogue One variety of the Falcon, or not Rogue One, the solo variety of Falcon, and then there's the Jumpmaster at the bottom, and the Aggressor. But like as you go further up this list, like
the only one that's right, the 2400 is really expensive, but the other ones there are 2 dice. The Scum Falcon's a 2 die attack.
Yep, which explains why it's
a 2 die attack.
Yep.
The thing you've got to look at for a Jumpmaster, and just think about this yourselves, and as a takeaway, would be you can get 2 Binary Pirates for 48 points. It's 1 less hit point, but it's actually spread over 2 targets. So when you consider the overkill of the first target, it's probably a wash. And that throws literally twice as many die a turn because it's 2 shots.
Correct.
So,
which could be twice as many focused shots, by the way.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I'm really surprised to see the YT-2400 so far down the line.
It's just expensive.
Yeah, but there are other expensive ships that survive the meta. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there are other 100-point ships out there.
86 points for an Initiative 1. Weeble was seen play, but they took away the crew slot because people kept putting 3PO on him, which broke him.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's true.
And then Dash is literally 98 points with nothing.
Yep.
I don't think people can fly like the 2-ship list when one of them's a large base. It kind of gets difficult because you can't get it. It can't go anywhere, so you're going to get shot. I don't know. I do think there's a what's the word? A stigma with the large bases in 2nd edition as well. I'm probably not helping with this conversation, but
we don't
YT-2400.
We have nothing to do with the meta anymore. So speak your mind.
You can barrel roll it every turn. So I take Dash and put... There's a good one. So expert handling on Dash makes that barrel roll white.
Mm-hmm.
So just barrel roll him out every turn. You get your 4 die shot. Have a Luke Gunner. You're shooting something every turn. But you're still... Oh, that's going to be 130 points for just that. Yeah. It's a lot of... Yeah. Oh, this is... it's making me physically ill just making this ship. Costs
so while you're building
156 points for Dash, Expert Handling, Outrider, Luke, and Kanan.
Yep. That gives you room for 1 other ship. Maybe. Yeah.
Well, it has to because you can't run a single ship list. So.
Right, exactly. So in the top 25 of all ships in X-Wing, or at least according to MetaWing 2.0 currently, the Scavenged YT-1300 is the first large base ship because it's running Ray, coming in at number 25. We don't see another large base ship. Well, 30, I guess. Okay, so they do have the pop shuttle floating around out there, so I guess I'll give that credit. But you need to get down...
The Upsilon as well. If you check the Upsilon, that'll be in there.
Well, it's down there. It's down there.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me. He doesn't believe me, folks.
Pilots Tavson.
He might be right. He might be right. Oh, no, right, you're right. Number 22. That is the first ever one. So in the top 25, there are 2 large spaceships. And you're right, it is Tavison is the highest one on there.
Yeah. There you go. I knew it was good.
Yeah. Okay. I stand corrected. I'll accept that. But my point being, of course, is so what do you do? So I know the design thought process, at least that they're going into, is that they're looking into some of these events and going, okay, here's 4 ships that are nobody's taking. Those are usually ones that they earmark to say, okay, we need to find a way to get those ships back up into not necessarily the upper echelons of top tier lists, but at least functional and playable. I don't know how you do anything with this ship.
So
nothing that isn't going to involve reprinting cardboard, which they're not going to do.
I don't think it gets to that. I think there's definitely game mechanic ways of fixing it, and even I think you'll see these numbers will go up post-Worlds, because I think the Nantex will scare people into running medium and large bases.
Just for the blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a good counter to that, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. So, Tavison is 25th, Sunfac is 37th on Metawing.
It's been out a month. Is it really the Scourge that everyone says it is? No, we'll get to that. All right, so no more kicking the poor toilet seat while it's down. We'll move on. I have 3 of them. I really want them to fly. They're sitting right down there, but
I own one of them, I think. No, I don't. I own 0. I own 0 of them at the moment.
Yeah, I own 3. I was part of the problem. I'm not gonna lie. When that list came out, oh boy, was that a ton of fun to fly.
I used to own 2. I just sold them all when 2nd edition came out.
Should have done that. I meant to do that, never did. All right, so the Inquisitor tie is out. Inquisitor is one of my favorite pilots. I really, really enjoyed flying him. Still really enjoy flying him. So I'm looking for. He's now. It's so weird for me to even get the differentiation between what is extended and what is.
I don't build hyperspace lists anymore because it's pointless. I just build extended lists. I wish hyperspace was a thing, but in honesty, it's not.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. And again, I know I've said this before, that goes back to my personal bias where I really, really wanted to have a look and feel of this is what Wave 1 meta is like and this is what a world is going to look like with only Wave 1 and Wave 2 ships. That's not the case. I'm not going to lament anymore about it.
Well, I can go through it. They did touch on hyperspace slightly in the AMA, but this
interesting.
This was with the developers, and Max spoke about the fact that the game will get to a point where hyperspace isn't restricted by what the new releases are. It'll have different ships. He said, obviously, they couldn't see a time where something like the T-65 and TIE Fighter wouldn't be hyperspace legal, but there'll be times where ships rotate out. We're just not there yet.
Ooh.
The thing that I'm not sure on is obviously the AMA at Worlds in a year ago when it was all announced back in May 2018. When I was at that one, hyperspace format looked like it was being ran by OP, not by the developers. So I don't know how much of a disconnect there is between what they're designing for and what OP are pushing, and how much say each, who
internally how that works too. FFG runs the development, as Asmodee runs OP.
Yeah.
So I recognize that technically Asmodee is the parent company now of Fantasy Flight Games whenever they got absorbed into the Asmodee umbrella, but technically they do still operate separately but working together. So while the developers might want one thing, the head of OP might want something else, and OP is who runs the show as far as that's concerned.
And I don't know what the answer is. I hope that they would be talking to each other, and it will eventually will evolve. But ultimately, I don't worry about it. I just build my lists and play the game, and then go from there. But Inquisitor's tie, I almost misspoke because it did change slightly, but the only list that stayed in the box was 7th Sister, Fire Control System and Sense, and then 2 Onyx Squadron Aces. The only change was that I put 2 jamming beams on the Onyx Squadron Aces for 0 points.
Yeah, why not?
So it's the same list, but I used the 0 point upgrade option.
Because you never know, it might come in handy once or twice in a game ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing. Like that does sort of excite me that they've at least intimated that is something that they're debating with a rotating format. Because bottom line, I know we've sort of soft talked about this a couple of times before. I mean, at some point in time, there's going to be so many ships that they're not going to be able to. All right, let me walk that back a hair. Because we lived in, I hate going back to first edition, saying back in the old days, and covered wagons and black and white TV. But we did have a first edition meta where we had 100 some ships that were technically legal, and you only ever saw it got to that point. And we had even kicked around the idea of what it would be like if they rotated ships or rotated upgrades out of quote unquote standard play and saying, okay, this is what you've got to work with now. Try to work from there. I sort of really like the idea of doing that, of rotating older ships out for newer ships and seeing how that shakes things up.
Yeah. So I'm just going through now, just because it interests me. So Rebel, Imperial, and Scum. So Scum have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 9 ships in hyperspace. Rebel and Imperial have got 8. Resistance currently have 6.
That's due to the movies.
Yeah, First Order currently have 4.
Also, thanks to the movies.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, it looks like we might get some more cool shit.
5 for Republic, and finally, Separatists should have 5 as well. Yeah, 5. So it ranges from 4 to 6 to 4 to 9 for hyperspace. So I feel like First Order are getting Captain Venrig's TIE interceptor thing, I think. Would take them up to 5. So the lowest will be 5 with Separatist Resistance and First Order. No, Separatist Republic and First Order. So
yeah,
I don't know. But it feels like I'd want a minimum of 6 different ships, I think, before I started removing them. But for me, so let's go through and we'll pick Empire because I know that's your favourite faction.
That it is.
So we'll go hyperspace with Empire, and so the current run is TIE Advanced X1.
Mm-hmm.
So V1 and X, so Inquisitors and Vaders, TIE Reaper, TIE Striker, TIE Interceptor, TIE Bomber, Decimator, and TIE Fighter. So which 2 would you cut? We added in the TIE V1, so you can't drop that one.
So you would probably want to rotate out. Now, based off the statement that we just had, which is they could not envision the game not having X-Wings and TIE Fighters. So the TIE Fighter is in a protected status. It's got the immunity from that.
So I think if you go through, we'll do a 7 factions quick with a protected ship and give them 1 each type thing.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
X-Wing, TIE Fighter, then Scum, I'd probably do Fire Spray.
Yep, exactly the ship I would have picked.
First Order would be TIE FO, probably.
Probably.
Resistance would be T-70. Then Jedi Starfighter and Vulture Droids would be the easy ones. But realistically, you're probably looking at 2 ships that they can't take out, because then you'd look at Jedi Starfighter and the V19s, because they come in the Republic starter box.
Mm-hmm. And by that same logic, you would have to go with the
Belbulub.
Right.
Yeah.
First Order would be the FO and the Silencer?
It depends. If Kylo flies something new in the new movie, I think you could go FO and SF, or FO and FO and something, but
FO and Upsilon is the only other thing.
they only have 5, so
I mean it's really a short list to work off of.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go back to the beginning of the list, obviously it's gonna have to be like an X-wing and a
Falcon, probably.
Yeah, probably X-wing and a Falcon. You're gonna have
X-wing and a Falcon for Resistance.
Yep, exactly. Then you're gonna have to go TIE Fighter, TIE Advanced for Vader for those 2 protected ships.
Yeah. Then Scum, I'd probably do a Fang Fighter.
The Fang.
Just because I don't know,
So I'm trying to go with. So my thought process would be ships that have shown up in the movies. Because there's a lot of EU in here.
So what Scum ship then?
So my knee-jerk reaction was like, well, if it's stuff that showed up in a movie, then it's got to be the custom YT-1300. But like, no, you can't stick them with just 2 large base ships. You're going to fight them. You got to fight them out.
Well, again, there's going to be other things, but that really limits the number of large base ships you can put in.
Yes, it does. Absolutely, it does. So
Fire Spray's medium base, but bye. It's not a small base.
It's not a small base. Okay, all right, fair argument. I keep forgetting they put that on the medium base. Maybe I'll have to retract that. I'm gonna have to agree with you. Yeah.
So, but okay, what about back to Imperials though? So you can't.
What ships do we drop?
Yeah, you have to drop 2 of them. The Decimator was the last wave. V1 was this wave. So you're looking at Reaper, TIE Bomber. So spoilers, Reaper's in the next wave.
So you can't drop that.
Well, you can, but it comes back.
Yeah.
So
you said the Aggressor is in.
No, sorry, Striker. It's Interceptor, Bomber, Striker, Decimator, Reaper,
and they
TIE
haven't relaunched the Bomber, so you can't do that yet. That was that soft one where they're just going to add it to hyperspace, but it didn't really get a release.
All right, if you gave me any of those, I'd probably drop Decimator and Bomber.
Yeah,
but that's because I have a soft spot for Striker. So in truth, I'd probably remove Bomber and Striker from that list.
Yeah, those are the 2 that I'm literally hovering over. Those would be the 2 I would drop.
And that would give you 6. It gives you a large base, a medium base, and 4 small.
Okay, but so we could play this game all night. It'd be kind of fun. But so let's kind of get to an ultimate goal on that one, though. So ultimately, in the end, they would have to have a shift where hyperspace is X-Wing. Extended still there.
I don't think it does have to be. Extended can still be the primary format, but hyperspace just has to be different enough. Because at the moment, I don't bother building a hyperspace list because
it doesn't matter.
Most of there's not enough variety. It's not restrictive enough for me to care about the restrictions. That makes sense.
Yep.
If I'm playing First Order, I can't take biohexacrypt codes. That's it. That's my restriction list. Cool.
Yep, that's it.
And they're probably hyperspace legal now, and I'm speaking out of turn. Let's double check. So I'm pretty sure they probably got added now. Upsilon, Major Strident, because I don't know how to play the game, evidently. No, they're hyperspace legal now. So literally, First Order is 100% hyperspace legal.
Yep, there you go.
So, whatever, man. If I'm a First Order player, if I play hyperspace, I have no restrictions. So why would you? That's why I play Extended, because if those 4 factions have 0 restrictions, why would I restrict myself on the other factions?
Right, exactly.
It's just crazy. So, I don't know. What were we up to? We did the Scum list, didn't we?
We did. So we're down to the Ghost and the Phantom. And
okay.
I'm kind of met on both. The Ghost is a large base ship. It isn't going to do very well. Cool ship, like the show, really enjoy it. Like, I love my model. It's absolutely beautiful.
I bought a new one because it's so good.
I know.
You're going to have to buy one because it's so good.
just because of we said this off camera, and I'm going to say it now. I'm still sad that they used the Phantom 2 and not the original attack shuttle.
But you've already got an attack shuttle. It's fine.
Yes, we do, but it doesn't have its wings fold up and dock like it should.
Like that. The problem with that is it has to be a 2 hinge per wing join, so it's pretty complex to make that.
Yeah.
But,
I can dream.
So I did do a completely different Rebel list to something. I've never flown anything like this or tried it, but I think I'm going to. And it is 3 medium bases.
Ooh.
So let's have a look. Do I have any Wave 5 content? Technically, I have Sabine Wren as crew, which would come in the Ghost if you didn't already have a conversion kit. But so I'm running Nora Wexley, and this is where I put expert handling.
Yep.
R5D8, which I believe is the repairer damage card droid. I'm going to have to double check. So I was literally filling up points at this point. Yeah. 3 charges, and as an action, you can repair face down damage cards, or you can repair face up ship damage cards. A shield upgrade, and Sabine. So she's 72 points of beef.
Good lord.
You'll notice a pattern here. And then there's Miranda Donny with barrage rockets, proximity mines, seismic charges, skilled bombardier, and delayed fuses. And then Asajj Chuketu with barrage rockets, proximity mines, seismic charges, skilled bombardier, and delayed fuses.
I'm starting to recognize that trend.
Yep. So Nora does her best to stay alive and away from the bombs so that Sabine is alive. And then Sabine does her wonderful adding extra effects to her bombs. And yeah, that's it. That is all of the list.
It's the whole thing right there.
Yep. Like, drop a bomb, don't be there. Easy.
Super easy.
There won't be any obstacles left by the end of the game because I'll reload my seismics. And yeah, should be good fun.
That sounds like a ton of fun.
I want to try it out. I'm not convinced that I'll be good enough to actually play it, but I feel like with that, when you look at that squad's layout, you have the 2 dice attacks to the sides, barrage rockets out the front, range 2 and 3, and then you can drop bombs out the back. So theoretically, you're pretty safe. Oh,
I could see it. I could absolutely see it.
We'll see. Fun times.
All right, so that kind of covers over all our Wave 5 ships that we wanted to go over.
It's Wave 5, so I wanted to finish up talking about what I'm looking to fly in a Wave 5 meta.
There you go.
So,
wait, we didn't even cover you. We covered me.
Yeah.
It's all about me, Kris. It's not about you.
It's okay. I did get to throw in like 5 or 4 of my squads before. So, well, 5 because I did 2 Republic ones, but I do have a Resistance squad, which I titled this one Not a Good Resistance Squad, but it should be, again, interesting. I have a 100-point Star Fortress.
Okay.
So I went for the Initiative 1, Cat. So she is when you perform a primary attack, if a defender is at range 0 to 1 of at least one friendly device, roll 1 additional die. So she has trajectory simulator, proximity mines, seismic charges, and delayed fuses. Then she has Page Tycho and Veteran Turret Gunner as her 2 gunners. So Page is, after you attack, you can rotate your arc or drop a device. So obviously you've got your 3 die front arc. So if I can shoot you in the front, Page to rotate again, and then Veteran Turret Gunner to fire again. So it should be double tapping. Then it's got Perceptive Co-Pilot, and if I can launch a seismic at you with a delayed fuse, if you fly within range 0 to 1 of that, I'm rolling an extra die. So it's a 4 dice attack out the front and a 3 dice attack out the turret.
Lovely.
Fun.
Oodles of fun.
So that's my cunning plan. And then I'd spent 100 points on this stupid Initiative 1 Star Fortress. So I needed to get something to fly with it. So I went for 2 Initiative 1 Blue Squadron rookies with hull upgrades and S-foils. 50 points each. But they have 8 health apiece, 5 hull, 3 shields. And are just there to
soak up damage.
Star Fortress in the middle, 1 on each flank, and just run 1 into the Star Fortress and try and get people to chase into the death zone of Cat.
Could be tons of fun.
I don't think it's a good squad, but I think it'll be fun. I honestly think that'll be fun for me, maybe not my opponent.
That's all that matters.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Star Fortress gets eaten up real quick.
Yeah.
So, then, on the flip side of that, whereas in this squad was called Not a Good Resistance Squad.
I missed that title.
So my first order squad is called Is It Really This Easy? Because for this one, I went Lieutenant Tavson for 64 points, and then I was like, well, that leaves me with 136 points left. And then I went with 4 Omega Squadron Experts with no upgrades. So it's 200 points. There's no upgrades in the list. It's Initiative 3 Tavson and 4 of the Initiative 3 SFs.
There you go.
So you point the turret to a rear, have your front arc out the front, turret to a back. So you've got like a mini arc, and you just fly 4 of them in a block and Tavson in the other side. And then it's like, well, do you want to shoot Tavson? Can if you want. It's okay.
It'll be
I don't
fine.
know. Yeah. And just a lot of beef and lots of easy shots I should get to take, even only being at Initiative 3. So
that sounds like fun.
That's been one that I've wanted to fly for a while, but I couldn't because I didn't have an SF, and I think they came out. I didn't have enough SFs, but they came out in Wave 4, so I picked some more up then.
Yeah, those were hard to find too. For some reason, for me, that was a really hard ship to find.
Yeah. Then my last squad that I built, I'm not even sorry. I did build a Sunfac squad. It's fine. It's not the worst squad in the world, but it's not the best Sunfac squad either. But I think it does enough for Calgary that it should be good.
It does enough for your local meta, is what you're trying to say.
Sunfac with Ensnare and Trickshot at 82 points.
Ooh.
Then I have 4 Trade Federation drones with grappling struts. And I have DFS 311 with grappling struts. So I've got a block of 4. Well, I've got 2 blocks of 2 to go and sit on an asteroid. And then DFS 311 to kind of hang around near-ish Sunfac, so you can have a calculate token. And Sunfac to actually get the job done. So
can I ask you a question about the grappling struts? Have you done it yet? Have you planted one on a rock and just sat there and like turned around and started shooting at people?
Yeah. Every time I play Sunfac, I deploy. I make sure I get 2 rocks, which I land on in my first move, with 4 of my vultures, and then they don't move.
You just stick them to the rock and just fly around the rock? Like I'm curious as to the strategy of like what you're going with for on that one, because obviously like I know I get the Sunfac one. But...
So the way I look at it is I try and put the rocks on my side of the table to one side, either left or right. It's irrelevant which one I end up building the field around. Turn 1, two of them move to one rock and two of them move to the other. Preferably there's a slight angle at the rock, so it's like you get a kind of spread your arcs. And then,
a little bit of a kill box, you mean?
Yeah. Then Sunfac's on the opposite flank, and he doesn't fly towards them. He turns into the vultures and then runs towards his own vultures. And they can either ignore that and go around, in which case he turns back and tries to get behind them, or follow him into the vultures, in which case they just sit there going, well, we're going to be calculated up and having fun. You won't be. So, yeah, the way you win with that is you make them fly into the vultures and Sunfac at the same time and fight them in the asteroids where you can fling them into the rocks and stuff like that. And remember, you can rotate them 90 degrees, then barrel roll off the rock. Well, so you rotate 90 degrees, calculate linked action barrel roll because of how the struts work. So you can like really change the position, and then that opens up a space for somebody else to land on that rock because you can only have two on. So you can do some funky stuff, and it's interesting to fly. I do get headaches slightly because it's one of those, if you move stuff in the wrong order, that's the one game I've lost with that list was 100% me moving ships in the wrong order, so that I blocked a barrel roll, which would have blocked a move. So I couldn't fit it, and then instead of having like 3 ships to shoot, I think it was a Republic Y-wing that I would have blocked. It might have been Matchstick. I can't remember, but it's irrelevant. I would have like got him all blocked up and then had 3 ships shooting at him. I had the one ship shoot him, and then the other ones he barrel rolled out of my arcs, like through choice, and I couldn't tractor him back. So,
does anyone ever bother taking shots at the ships on the rocks? Because, like, I think about that. Like, so if I'm going into that, like, how do I, like, what's my thought process in that one? Because they're not going anywhere. Yeah, they're going to have to be dealt with at some point in time.
So the thing I forgot originally was the wording on grappling struts is when the struts are open, I ignore rocks in the same way that Han ignores them with Kira and stuff like that. As in, you ignore them to every advantage to you, but then can stop ignoring them when it's your opponent. So when you shoot me, I'm obstructed. When I shoot you, I'm not obstructed.
I never read it that way. That's stupid.
When you're at range 0 of an obstacle, you ignore it. So I'm at range 0, so that obstacle's not there, so it doesn't obstruct it. But when you check your shot to me, your shot passes through it, so unlucky, man. Sorry.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, fun times.
Fun times. All right, so anything else you want to cover from the Wave 5 stuff? That was there was a lot in there.
That was about it, really. It was more talking about squads I'm looking forward to flying, different things I'm looking forward to trying in Wave 5. So you'll notice there, we've got a 3 medium base ship list, which I wouldn't have dreamed of running. I'd probably have thought of running 4 arcs in Republic, just for like that beefy list. But that kind of 2K wing and Norwex list, I wouldn't have dreamed of running in Wave 4. Nothing's changed in it. It's like everything in that was legal in Wave 4. But I feel like now I feel like it'll be more useful into a meta. I may well be wrong. I'm prepared. It's okay. But it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to trying that. There's a lot more bombs and ordnance that I'm trying out. Every time I've been putting something with bombs in, I've taken seismics, where when I first started with 2nd edition, I wasn't overly bothered about seismics. It was all about the protons for the critical damage. But I don't know. I'm pretty happy to try these new things out and see if I can adjust to the world we'll live in post Nantex.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, so let's give our competitive guys a little something to chew on. You actually went on a guest spot on another podcast and kind of digested a little bit of the world's meta. And since it is sort of the title of the show, obviously we don't care a ton about competitive ones, but let's throw them a bone a little and kind of maybe give some highlights. Obviously, you want to plug the cash through there if you really want to get into the in-depth and the nuts and bolts. Obviously, go to
Sea to Sky. Yeah, Sea to Sky podcast.
There you go.
It's a Canadian podcast out of Vancouver, I think, and they had me on, and it's a good chat. Really enjoyed it. I did the Canadian special show a while ago, and that was good fun as well.
That would be the second best Canadian podcast, correct?
Something like that now. I think everyone says they're the best Canadian podcast, even us. So
yeah, you're in Canada, it counts.
Yeah. So they do a lot more competitive focused gaming and that kind of thing, but I enjoy going on and call them for being too negative and have a happy-go-lucky show and bring some of our joy to the world, you know?
That's right.
But yeah, so they were talking about it, and I didn't do too much research into Metal Wing and everything like that. I knew we wanted to touch on a few different topics, so it was quite a long show for them, actually. I'm sure that was partially me just doing tangents because that's what we do. So
yep, that's exactly what we do.
Yeah. But one of the things they were talking about was obviously Nantex and stuff like that. And if we look at Metal Wing now, I think as we touched on it earlier, pilot-wise, the Initiative 5 guys showing up more than the
really
Initiative 6.
Interesting on that.
He's in 30th, SureTech, and Sunfac's in 37.
Maybe he's not as big of a scary guy as everyone said he was.
So I think what that leads me to believe, and I might be interpreting this data wrong, but I feel like that leans towards there's two basic lists that would have Sunfac in it. There's the style I just spoke about, where it's Sunfac and some vultures, or there's Sunfac, Grievous, and a second Nantex. So if the second Nantex is SureTech, that would mean that if that list is doing better, he would rank higher than just Sunfac on his own,
right?
Because Sunfac's being dragged back down by the vultures. That pales in comparison to the actual Trade Federation drone, though, which is in number 1 position.
Interesting.
With Captain Sear in second.
Yeah,
so
and it's not just that list that it's in either.
Yeah. But the Sear Swarm is what was coming to dominate Wave 4, and that was the boogeyman that was just about to get people starting to complain about it. Luckily, Nantex came along and no one cares anymore. But I'm pretty sure that Sunfac doesn't like having to fly into 8 ships.
Yes.
And try and dodge 8 arcs. But, what do I know? Sunfac's the sky's falling. Sunfac's really, really good. So, yeah.
It surprises me to see. So as I'm looking at this list, I thought that the energy shells would be the ordnance of choice on these things, but they're going Discord missiles.
Upgrades. Yeah, Discords on a few of them.
Or some of them are just flat out naked. Like the Separatist drones are just flat out naked in some of these lists.
Yeah. Energy shells is the 18th most popular upgrade. Or ranked upgrade, I should say, according to MetaWing. And Discord's 3rd.
So yeah, it looks like they won the big Grand Championship in France is the list that I'm seeing. And it's like you said, it's an 8-ship list. That warms my heart. Makes me wonder why TIE fighters can't do it, because they don't have access to missiles, probably.
Because you can't sit on the rocks.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Sear Swarm is still going to be strong. Like I said, it's a lot of ships to try to kill, and the problem you have is that if you engage into the rocks, once you've damaged one of them through the 3 agility for being obstructed and the calculate shenanigans, it can just run away. Generally, you'll see what is that upgrade called? I forgot. TA-175, I think he is.
The other...
No, not that one. I think, that's the one that gives you the calculate when well, I suppose that works as well. Getting a calculate when your friends die, or one that lets you, add an evade in exchange, or either they take a strain or you add an evade result. So you can potentially evade 4 shots while she sat on the rocks. And it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So I think the Seer Swarm's still going to be a menace to people. I don't know that the good players will be playing Sunfac enough to be like dancing around that swarm properly. I don't
so you're
know.
thinking like they're more along the lines that they're going to be thinking about how to beat that list as opposed to playing that list.
Yeah. I do think that. So one of the things that I said was that I thought Sunfac would probably be massive, or Nantex would be massively prevalent in the last chance qualifier, but the people who are actually going to Worlds will probably not be running it. So I think there's a really high chance of seeing a lot. So I suppose we should quantify what I mean by a high chance. Like, I'm not sure how many rounds the last chance qualifier is, but we'll guess at 6 or 7 rounds. So I'd say you might play 2 Nantex in the Swiss of last chance qualifier.
I could see that.
And like, if you go 5-2 and you lose both your Nantex games, does that really matter? You probably still make the cut. I don't know, do you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, well, we can talk about the Nantex, but I think a lot of the problem isn't how powerful it is and how much it's winning. Part of the problem was, like we spoke about that first time, how you feel when you're playing it. So whilst I don't think the sky is falling and stuff like that, and I think people are starting to adjust now, and it's not been massively prevalent in the data sets that we have, however small they may be, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Nantex in the last chance qualifier, and then that number drastically reduced in Worlds proper. But I still think that list has legs, so I'm going to say that it will make... Okay, how confident do I go? I reckon there'll be...
Nail you down to numbers here.
In the top 32, I think there'll be more than 5 Nantex.
For Worlds.
In Worlds. Top 32 at Worlds, I think there'll be more than 5 Nantex. I think there'll be more Bauble Labs. Oh, do I? No. Yes, I do. I think there'll be more
because that's
Bauble Labs.
That's going to be like the hard counter list it's going to go up against them.
No, I don't think it's a hard counter. I think that's just
hard counter is probably not the right word. Fair enough.
Yeah. It's not a list built to beat it. It's just, it was a good list before, and I think people will keep running it. But obviously, I'm kind of cheating in that I think some of the lists with Nantex will have a Bauble Labs in as well. So I'm going off ship numbers here. I thought we could write this down. In fact, we could do this as a game for us.
There you go. I'm on board.
Shall we do a charity bet here?
Sure, we'll do a nice, fine charity bet.
So there we go. I've picked 2 already. So Nantex at Worlds, I said 5 in the top 32. So are we going to talk top 32?
Yeah, top 32. Top 32, definitely.
And I said more than 5, so greater than 5 for Bauble Labs. So how many Nantex do you think there'll be in the top 32?
As soon as you asked the question, the number 3 jumped into my head.
Okay. And do you think there'll be more than... So do you want to go more than 3? Do you want to do it in reference to your own?
No, I'm going to say like it's going to be more. It's going to be 3 or more.
3 or more Bauble Labs.
Bauble Labs.
So I've got to do the equal to sign for that as well. Okay.
There you go.
There you go. So I picked 2 ships. So what have you got? Some gut feeling for like
Ether Sprites.
So,
I think Jedi. I think it's gonna be a cool, because it's technically gonna be our first real second edition.
This is the first real second edition Worlds. This is what competitive X-Wing is now.
Yes.
In 2.0, that it's effectively capped at a 600 player to like 300 player 2 days into a final day, like massive event with, I believe it was 500 tickets available for the last chance qualifier or something stupid like that. So like, this is a huge event.
And no offense to those that actually played in the soft world. I don't know. It wasn't. They didn't play second edition to earn their way in. It's still always going to.
It's fine. Like Coruscant, it wasn't even called Worlds. It was Coruscant.
Right. So. Exactly. So this being the first Worlds of second edition, I genuinely believe that we're going to see at least 5.
Oh, come on, man! You've got to.
You want to go?
We can't do. So, do you?
Well, we're talking 32 lists.
We don't have to do top 32. We can do something else. So, do you want to say Aether Sprites are the most represented ship?
Ooh.
Taking into account Vultures will exist.
No, because I think Vulture's going to be the most represented list. Because I think that's going to be a big list. I'll put it this way.
Okay, so top 32. How many? You think there'll be how many?
Hold on, I've got one. For the Aether Sprite, I'm going to say that.
Oh, in fact, I've got one. How far do you think it'll go?
Exactly. I'm going to say that's going to make to the top 4.
Top 4.
At least the top 4. There will be a ship with a list with an Aether Sprite in the top 4.
I would agree with that. So let's do how many Aether Sprites are going to be in the top 4.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, gee. I
went first for the last 2, so it's still your turn to go first. So not lists with Aether Sprites, actual number of Aether Sprites.
Actual number. I'll go back to my number of 3. I'm going to say there's at least 3 in the top 4.
Okay. I'm going to say that there'll be 2 in the top 4. I think, less than 3. Screw you, Ed.
Less than 3. All right, you're taking the under, I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
Is that this weekend, or is that next weekend?
That's... So, when this goes live on Tuesday, last chance qualifier is Wednesday.
Okay, gotcha. So it would be okay, perfect.
Okay, so... Shall we do something for last chance qualifier then?
Oh, wait, do I get to pick another ship?
Oh, yeah. So you only pick one thing there, yeah.
So I've got to represent my empire, and I'm going to say there's going to be at least one list with a tie advance V1 in it. Because I know how it's going to work. The Empire never wins Worlds. I have my man Doug Kinney.
Will that tie V1 be Darth Vader?
Yes, of course. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But,
so I'm not even gonna write tie advance. I'm gonna write Darth Vader.
Yeah, Darth Vader. There will be at least one Darth Vader. But I mean, if you look at the list that have won Worlds, the Empire was represented in the very first one. My man Doug Kinney with a Vader mini swarm, and then the Empire has never won Worlds since.
So you're saying I'm assuming this is top 32.
Yes.
So I think that's too easy. Top 16. Is Vader in top 16?
Oh, no, I thought I said top 4. I said at least...
Oh, top 4?
Top 4.
Okay, right then, I see.
Yeah, no, I said top 4. I said Vader's going to make it to the top 4.
Oh, I don't think he makes top 4.
Oh.
I think Vader caps out in... Who's going to fly Vader?
It'll be Paul Heaver.
Get out.
It'll be Dark Heaver.
So you've gone top 4. So I think I can go top 32 pretty safely there.
Oh yeah, that's a fair. That's definitely
top
the
32,
under.
Top 16, top 8. Yeah, it's top 4. So that gives me top 32 and top 16 to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
If it's top 8, we tie. No, that's wrong. Yeah, you'd beat me if it was top 8.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. So Darth Vader. Okay then. Where do you think the highest placing Rebel squad will be?
Ooh.
So literally after the event's finished and they do the
placings. This is are they still going to do it like first, second, third, fourth? It's gonna be top 1, top 2, top 4,
yeah,
top
1,
8.
2, yeah. So I suppose same thing. Yeah. Rebels as a faction.
Rebels as a faction. Ugh.
This is going to be my crazy bet.
This is going to be your crazy. I'm going to say top 16, and that's pushing it.
I was going to say top 4, but I'm going to cheat and say top 8 now.
Just to make sure you beat me. Give yourself some wiggle room. I don't know.
I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do 2 more and then we'll wrap up our worlds chat. Yeah, what do you think?
I need to pick a faction. I know.
Well, let's pick the faction that wins worlds.
Faction that wins worlds? It's really, really hard to pick against the Separatist.
I went against Separatist. I don't think you'll even guess what I went.
Well, all right. So since I know jack and shit about the current competitive meta, I'm going to go with my heart and say the Empire's back, and they are going to win worlds. They're gonna repeat history. The first real worlds for second edition is going to be an Empire list with Darth Vader, no less.
I'm not going to write that bit down.
Please
so
you've
taken Empire. I took First Order.
You took First Order. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. What list? I mean, just out of curiosity. I mean, you don't have to spill the. What list?
I think someone will fly like Tavson and something. I think Tavson's pretty strong. First Order's had such a small card pool for so long that people who fly First Order have been flying it a lot. So I think it's going to come down to more. Someone has been playing this First Order list since Wave 3.
Yeah.
And has just been like, Wave 2, since Wave 2, and has just been hammering it.
Okay. I'm not sure I agree, because I think First Orders, that's pushing it right there.
No, I said this is going to be my outside bet. It's fine. Then, okay, shall we do highest placing scum list? Because that will be everyone's underdog faction, I think.
Okay.
And then, this is what we'll render it on.
I would have put the First Order almost close to the underdog faction, but okay. Highest placing scum list. I actually need to educate myself a little on what people are playing in the scum faction, because I'm going down this list of
ship types. Let's go down in ship type until we find a scum
pilot, shall we? Guri Fen sitting in the 12th spot in the list archetypes.
Fang Fighter is the 26th most popular ship, and that is the highest ranking scum ship.
And then we get down to Kirax fighters. Ooh.
It's not a bad list, actually.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
That's my pick. I'm going to say that it's going to be a Moldy Swarm. Will be that.
Not what list, as in which bracket are we going to fall in? How high will they go?
Oh, top 32. Like they're going to make the ceremony. They're going to be the Utah Tech State going up against Kansas in round 1 of the tournament. Like, woo, we made it, and then they're at their brains being 87-0.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a chance here. I'm going to take top 8.
Ooh.
I was going to just take top 16 because you
be...
said top 32, but I'll take top 8.
There. Yeah, see, I go big and go home. Either I'm really, really right or I'm way...
Yeah. Okay, so that gives us a few. I'll write those up or something later. Like notepad and pen and everything, like old school. Didn't even just do an Excel spreadsheet. It's fine. No, I'm really looking forward to it. Seeing it. I don't know if I'll be able to watch Worlds proper because I think I might be running an X-Wing tournament that weekend.
Oh.
But yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, I am running an X-Wing tournament that weekend. Fun. It won't be Worlds.
It won't be Worlds, but you'll be running one. That was actually one of the... I had some of the most fun on some of the tournaments that I've gone on. Because, like, you get... All right, this is a completely... If you're a casual player and your local store is running an event that same weekend, that's the weekend you want to go. Because all the hyper-competitive players that you had that had any money whatsoever in their pocket are at Worlds. Meaning everybody else left is just there to play and have fun. So I've had some of the most fun at events where larger events are going on. Oh, wait, regionals is going on, but there's a local one here. That's the one I'm going to go to because all the guys that want to go into the hyper-competitive modes, they're gone.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. I might see if we can set it up to play on the big screen in the background type thing if they have a live stream going.
Yep.
I'm definitely going to watch everything that's streamed, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and stuff.
One of the things I'm really looking forward to is I'm not going to have to, they're doing Pogs or whatever. Oh, they're going to do Legend of, like, whatever. They're doing this other game that I'm not interested in for 4-hour block today. No, it's going to be all X-Wing, as far as I know. Like, that's...
X-Wing and Destiny are both going to be on. I don't know what the timetables is, but I believe Gold Squadron are going to be streaming like all of it anyway.
Oh god, yeah, no, and Dion does such a fantastic job. So I can bounce back and forth between the two because the games that FFG is covering, isn't covering, Gold Squadron will be covering games on other tables. So like you can kind of get, if you really want to do it, you can set it up on 2 different screens. That's where I'm going to go.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. I'm really looking forward to it. I think that's everything I had. I don't know.
Oh no, I think that's good. All right, questions? Do we have questions from the audience?
I did. I put out questions. Let's find this. So Lack of Focus asked when was the last time Ed rolled physical dice, which I assume was Chad.
Chad asked that question?
Yes.
Yep, that would make sense. He knows because he was there the last time. It's been a long time. I will correct that. I have technically rolled dice, but for other reasons.
Okay. Will any of you be going to World's Last Chance qualifier? So we've answered that already. We're not going. I wanted to go either as media or to judge, but I couldn't sort out childcare. It would have meant Jill taking time off work and just don't have the money, to be honest. So definitely a financial decision, unfortunately. We'll plug Patreon later.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. Agreed.
Get Kris to World's Patreon. Was the invite system part of your decision-making process for going or not? 100% no for me. It didn't even factor in. I'm actually been an advocate of the invite system. I was really glad that they decided to do a last chance qualifier.
Yeah, me
but
too.
even if they hadn't, I still think this would have been a better system. It's annoying. Like for me, I wouldn't have been able to go because I only get to go to one hyperspace, so it's pressure on for one event.
Yep, it's win big or go home, literally.
Yeah.
Myself personally, it's the system that I'd really hoped they'd implemented once Worlds got too big to manage. And like we really began to feel some of that fatigue with whenever they're like, okay, we have 5,000 people that want to attend this event and we are limited to the venue there. So what do? We're going to do a lottery system. And that didn't make anybody happy. To me, and this is if I'm going to put my competitive hat back on for a second, people should have to win their way towards a world's tournament. And I know if Sean were sitting here, he would vehemently disagree with me, and I understand his reasons behind it, in the fact that it's supposed to be an open tournament, and it's supposed to invite the idea of, the camaraderie, and that anybody can walk in and potentially win it. In my opinion, I feel that there needs to be something earned to get there.
Yeah, I think the last chance qualifier should null and void that argument, but
Exactly.
Sean feels how he feels, and I'm not going to put words into his mouth. But,
yeah, no, and I'm not suggesting that he's necessarily wrong. It's just from my competitive side, I feel like the people, if you're going to go to that event, you should have at least won something to get there.
Yeah. Then that one was from Harrison Sharp, and then we have Matt LaRoque, who's a Calgary local. Hate is still the only dark side force power upgrade. Do you want to see more dark or light side only upgrades? What would you theorize could be a light side only ability / upgrade? Sky's the limit. Or does one of the existing upgrades make more sense as a light side only? Going for theme here, not necessarily game balance.
I love first of all, I love that add on to the end of the question. Theme here, not necessarily balance, because so short answer to your question, yes, I feel that only having one dark side one kind of feels unbalanced. I recognize everyone kind of gets generic, but each side of the force thematically had their own powers. There are certain things that Sith or Dark Jedi would study that Jedi would not. So it does feel a little unbalanced that they only have the one. I go back to the old Star Wars CCG that deciphered it, and I want to think of things like Sense and Alter, where and I'm trying to think. So if I were to make Alter would be like a mini Palpatine. That would make a great light side one, where not necessarily being able to change any die to any facing, but maybe roll from one to the other, like turn a focus into a hit kind of thing for spending a point, or because you can already do that with a soft focus point. So turn a blank into a focus kind of thing, or something like that. Like some sort of soft Alter. And then I would love to see some other, because I'd have to go back to the theme. Let me put some thought into it. I'll let you ramble on a minute. It'll probably come to me.
I mean, so I'm fine with there only being hate. To be honest, it makes sense that would be dark side only. If I had to pick something from the existing cards, it would probably be something like Battle Meditation. Would be dark side. Would be light side only, and then Darth Sidious and Palpatine would give you the ability to take that force power. In the same way, Maul lets you take a dark side one.
Yeah.
So that's how I would kind of do that. If I was going to create one, I'd probably go for something like the yin and yang style of it. So obviously, hate lets you regen extra force for taking damage. So I would have done something like, we call it Tranquility, and make it like Brilliant Evasion. But
that's cool.
Like maybe it gives you an old-fashioned evade or something like that. Lets you add an evade result to spend a force to add an evade result.
Yeah, I like that.
Super, don't let me have that, by the way. That's broken.
Well, because there was part of me that's if I were to do one out, if you think about a dark side Jedi, they would most likely use their strength and power to do damage, all on offense. So whatever dark side powers would have to be offensively oriented. So I'm trying to think of something that would necessarily balanced. You would have to be able to spend maybe spend 2 force tokens to force through a hit.
You've got a lot of the actual pilot abilities of the dark side force users. Yeah. Maul's ability is super offensive based.
Yes.
Dooku's crew card ability is really interesting. There's loads of really they've done really good with the force, in my opinion, on the design side of it. Supernatural and precog aside.
Well, supernatural prefix.
Yeah, but it's not been fixed, has it? It's been nerfed, costed so high that you can't really run it. So
But
is that a fix or not?
We've talked about that though. So like they went really, really high. They're gonna maybe bring it down a little bit more. Like they're getting there.
Maybe. I don't think it'll come down ever, but maybe.
Really, you don't think?
No, I think Supernatural is. If anything, it'll get more expensive. If people find a way to fit it in, it'll get more expensive again.
So you think that's their way of their soft banning of a card? They just price it out of existence.
Yeah. Okay. This one's from John Wilder. Have you seen or heard of any new types of formations being used? I only really see like cubes or rectangles or a pinwheel. I'm interested in other ways to fly. I'm wondering if the way formations are flown is stabilized because the best ways have been discovered, or if it is only stabilized because people haven't been testing different types of formations.
Okay, so I have a short answer to that question and then I have a long answer. So the short answer to that question is yes, I have. And I'm going to give full credit to Bob, Major Juggler, who had introduced me to a different way of deploying. I don't know that I necessarily call it a different formation precisely, but I have a different way of deploying those ships in those formations. And what he would do is he would slightly a 12.5 degree angle on all of his ships. And what it does is everyone always thinks whenever they lay them down, they literally think in very, very linear left, right, and they're doing it in blocks. It's very like 90 degree angle. Like whenever you move that 90 degrees, 12.5 degrees to the other direction, you open up different firing shots and firing angles that you didn't have before. Some a little bit more to the left and some a little bit more to the right. Even if you're still doing those 90 degrees in there, you can do that. And then you can do almost I know this is super hard to do in an audio-only format, so I'm sorry if you're not watching this on YouTube. But you can do like the wing formation where you've got two ships so if you just think of a triangle, and you have your lead ship in the front, you have like bowling pins almost, and then two ships behind, and then on the right or left side, you only have one ship. So it's like a 5-ship formation kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's actual combat flying techniques as far as how to actually fly ships. Kris can attest to this better than I can.
So things that works with, like that 12.5 degree thing, it works really well on large base ships with like Dash used to do it with Outrider and Trickshot, because it makes that corner will be one corner's always closer. In that point, you don't get those parallels, which lets you engineer situations for those trick shots, and that's where it comes in pretty useful. Works well on stuff with the 180 firing arc as well. For myself, I feel like, had you asked this question at the end of 1.0, formation flying was pretty much sussed out. You had like the fortresses notwithstanding, like that was it really done. I think the introduction of medium bases and a lot of abilities now, especially with Republic, involve the side arcs, because the way we've got those check marks and every arc's divided, even if you only have a primary firing arc, it opens up access to abilities and upgrades that can potentially use those side arcs. So like a Sinker Swarm, for example, you've got to be in the side arc of a medium base ship to get the benefit, which is a completely different way of flying that we haven't thought about before. So I think that's going to, like, you're already seeing like sync deployments and things coming to the fore. Even just flying medium bases mixed in. Like I've been flying Nora in with 3 small bases, and I've had to play around trying to figure out how I'm going to control the speed of this medium base so that my formation hits at the same time while still giving me options that aren't a straightforward joust. So it's been interesting. I don't have any concrete formations to give you at the moment. If you're interested in the Sinker Swarm stuff, just do a little bit of research on YouTube, try and find some games and see how people are deploying that. But I think there's a lot of scope still to explore. But I think like the 4-block pinwheel and the Pisque, I can't remember, Sean knows about it, formations where it's literally, this is the tightest formation you can get that allows you to bank and turn.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like once you've mathematically done that, it's a solvable problem once you get to the most compact formation.
Yeah, and they had that pinwheel figured out early on. I think part of it is a limitation of the design space of we're dealing with square bases.
Yeah.
There's only so many combinations that you can come up with that are functional as far as formation flying. And so, like you said, like you've got the block formation, you've got the pinwheels. Those are the most efficient. The reason why those are so evident is because the average player can figure it out and figure out how to fly as far as those formations are concerned.
Okay, then we have Mark Ryder. Will Lee Ozatuk ever be good again? Sad face.
Sad face. I put the Asatuk right in the same place that I put the Jumpmaster 5000, man.
The Space Canoe.
Yep.
So this is a 2-stage answer. The first one, I'm gonna open. I'll make it 3-stage so we can have the shit sandwich.
There you go.
I think the Azatuk's good. Genuinely, and if I hadn't been looking to do more bombs in Sabine, I probably would have done Nora and 2 Azatuks. Because I think that it's a really strong answer to aces at the moment. With because it's got that different firing arc, you can control angles and doing like we just spoke about those 12 and a half or 22 and a half degree angles and stuff like that. So you're like already set up on the bank type thing. You can kind of cover a lot of area with that arc. If you're asking if it's ever going to be as good as it was in 1.0, no, because it was broken.
Yep.
It wasn't that it was good. The Aztec was never good. Reinforce was cheating.
Yep.
So, yeah, there you go. I think that it's pretty good now. It's just that it's probably balanced. The issue you have is obviously the Rebels have so many ships that it competes against things that are slightly more efficient. So I think the scope that you can fly it really well. It will fit into squads. It works well as a rugged troop carrier. In this, but it competes with the U-wing for that role. And the U-wing's got tricks that the Aztec doesn't.
It's just so flat out better.
Yeah. And that's it. I think if it came down to a rough, well, let's have a look here.
Yeah, I was just usually
make sure I'm not talking out of school or just like giving dud information. The Azatuk, cheapest Azatuk, Initiative 1 at 46 points. Cheapest U-wing is Partisan Renegade at 43 points. So there you go. It's 3 points more expensive than a U-wing. With the same health but distributed differently. Less agility, but has access to a white reinforce.
Mm-hmm.
So I would.
It is a 3 attack die ship though, with that cool arc.
I don't think it's bad. I think it suffers from not being able to turn around easily.
Yes, and that is a huge minus.
Yeah, and I think that it could probably be costed on a par with the Partisan Renegade. I think it could come down 3 points and then it would actually compete in that space.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think the short answer to your question is... go ahead.
Sorry, just one more point. If I can put Leia on a Kashyyyk Defender for 50 points, I'd probably take it as my Leia carrier. So it's 2 points over for that mark at the moment.
Yeah, so it'd have to drop in points. I think this thing, as we had a lengthy discussion about the Jumpmaster 5000 and ships that were really broken in first edition, and they went, no, and they swung it the complete opposite way. They did the same thing with the Ashituk, unfortunately. The upside to that one, though, is like Kris said, I feel that it could be pointed appropriately to bring it back, at least into a more viable state. That 180-degree firing arc is no joke. You don't necessarily have to turn it around if you're not depending on it.
Yeah.
So I think it absolutely could. It is going to require a points reduction.
Hmm.
And I'm not super impressed with a lot of the pilots, to be honest with you. I mean, Wolfalo, he's okay. Lowrick, okay. But again, it's the frame that's carrying them around that's a little bit pricey. So it would need a price reduction all the way around to bring it back.
Okay. So, and two lighter questions, I suppose, for the end of the show. But we have Damien Robinson asks, is it okay to do a spy versus spy alt art for a Nantex? And should Sunfac be a black spy or a white spy? So before you answer, I did pre-read this question, so I dressed appropriately.
Oh, did
so
you?
I am wearing my Smuggler versus Smuggler t-shirt, which is Hannah as the white spy, Greedo as the black spy, but it's Smuggler versus Smuggler with the pointy faces.
I love it. I love it. Black spy. Yes, it's okay to do it. First of all, it's absolutely okay to do that kind of stuff. You should totally go for that. And my vote is black spy.
So what I wanted to do, if you do it, you've got to send it in, man. We'll see if we can do something fun with it. But I thought you could do a Nantex, and then would you do Sunfac, and then like I think the Initiative 4 is the Chirix. I can't remember his name now. The two that generally go into a squad. Then you've got to have like the Belbulub in the middle as just like the bomb. So that they're stood in the middle, and then you have the Belbulub as the bomb type thing that they're holding. Yep. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Then Patrick Meir asks, why does FFG hate hyperspace?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
I have a serious answer. Do you want me to try and kind of give the...
All right, go ahead.
It's not a PR answer, but it's generally, I think that...
Go ahead and give your answer before I give my limiting answer.
I think that there's been a disconnect between the designers and OP and what hyperspace was meant to be, and that staff turnover has affected that vision.
All right, that was a really serious answer.
Yeah.
Do you want to expand upon that a little at all?
Okay. It's all open knowledge if you were there, and all of this stuff is publicly available if you do enough research. So I don't believe I'm saying anything incorrect here. Like, none of this is like protected information or anything, but obviously what hyperspace was announced to be from the May Ask Me Anything announcement of Wave 2 of 2nd edition changed. The staff who announced it have changed. There's a new head of OP. There's, people have all been reshuffled. And I think that those changes within Asmodee have definitely affected X-Wing specifically. Like, even the naming conventions have changed like 3 times in the last year, like probably even less than a year. The naming conventions of basically store championships, regionals, and all of that. As working in a store, the kits we have access to have been in flux. You had deluxe wave kits, seasonal kits, tournament kit. There's been so many conflicting things. Is it going to be just card packs you give out for people just coming in and start playing? Are there prizes and how it all works? Like the arcade tokens, are they going to finish that run? There's so many different approaches, and I feel like, pardon my terminology here, but it's like throwing crap at a wall and seeing what sticks. at times feels like that was the approach. I don't think that's how it is now. I definitely feel like improvements have been made, and even if you don't consider them to be improvements, it's stabilizing. And I've got faith in Max in what he says, that hyperspace will at some point get to a position where it isn't dependent upon the new releases. So, as we discussed it earlier, I would hope that once we get to 6 ships in each faction, that we start seeing a rotation. If that happens, I will be massively supportive of it. And it doesn't have, Extended can still be a primary format. that's on, I'll say on me, on us as a show, on all the podcasts for putting the faith in hyperspace being the main format. Had we all just accepted that it was always extended, and part of it comes down to communication from FFG, that they should have said X-Wing is it should have been called X-Wing and hyperspace, or standard and hyperspace. Just steal the terms that people at no one are familiar with. So, because extended sounds like extra on top of.
Yes.
So it's not that extended is a bad format. It's that it's an incorrect naming convention if that is going to be a standard format.
Okay, so I've bit my tongue long enough.
Yeah, I've gone on long enough. It's fine.
So I think.
Do you want me to keep talking?
No, because I've got a lot I want to add into it. I think you're absolutely correct. I think that there has been a vision shift due to some of the internal mix-ups, and I think that we are in a stabilizing formation at this juncture, but it's taken a bit to get there. And I think a lot of the impressions that we got whenever second edition was announced came from that in the second edition. Hyperspace and extended. I remember whenever they announced it, we started this show based specifically on that, because this show, I think we did I'm trying to remember the exact order of operations. I think we did our episode 70 Nova Squadron Radio as a joke whenever they did the announcements.
Because we did that from Worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we just kept going with it. The naming convention in itself intimated to the fact that hyperspace was going to be X-Wing, and extended was simply that, this extra stuff that was, yes, we know that you have older ships. Yes, we know that you've put a ton of money into this, but we're going to kowtow to you a little bit. We're going to sell you these upgrade kits that give you every ship, so you don't have to go out and buy all your plastic ships are still going to be viable in a different format. That's how they dressed it. That is and that is where myself and a lot of others got that impression, was that hyperspace was going to be X-Wing, and yes, extended was going to be there. You could still fly your other ships. You can still fly them in tournaments because you have this brand new app and you can do whatever format you want. But that's how they addressed it. That is how they dressed it whenever they showed everyone what their thought processes was. And then it became very, very clear right around the announcement for Worlds that had changed. Who made that change? Why that change was made? Was it made to the shifts in OP? I don't know.
I think beyond the Worlds announcement, sorry to interject.
No, that's okay.
The addition of the Interceptor and Bomber into hyperspace.
Yep, that was the other thing that I was going to add in.
Because that's when it moved it away from being the black packaging is hyperspace.
Is X-Wing.
Yeah.
Because again, if you were a new player coming into X-Wing right now, there are ships in the hyperspace format you can't buy.
Yeah.
Why? Because there is a shift in tone and they're what they're going to have to do at some point, they're going to have to change the names. Because again, it goes into, and I know I'm always pulling back to my Magic roots. You have standard play, and then you have modern. There are two naming conventions, and they feel different. Modern means everything. And then you have standard, there's a limited. That's how that feels to me. Hyperspace is X-Wing, and then extended is everything. You can do tournaments based on that, but this is really what we're focusing, because that's right now, that's all you can buy. If you started the game right now, I can't buy ships from extended. I can go to eBay. I mean, sure, there are methods. Absolutely, there are methods. You can go to eBay.
Well, there aren't now. Like, you cannot buy an Alpha Class Starwing.
Yeah. Like, you just can't buy one. It's in extended. Or it is.
Yeah,
it's
in. I don't like that have and have not economy of it, because it's like, well, my statement is false, because if I posted online, does anyone want to sell me an Alpha Class Starwing for up to $200? Someone would sell me one, and it would cost me $200.
Mm-hmm.
And like, well, not everyone can afford to do that, and I don't like. And there's always going to be an element of pay to win in everything to some extent, right? Because Like, you know, I can't afford to take time to actually practice playing chess because I need to work 4 jobs to feed my family.
Yeah.
You know, there's always when you dive deep into it, there's always some level of pay to win to be the best at something, which is fine. But the current level is a level I'm unhappy with for X-Wing.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. But my thought process would be based genuinely on how the game is now, how Worlds is, and how the competitive format is right now. There shouldn't be 2 naming conventions. There should just be X-Wing. The fact that there is hyperspace and extended at all, based on the way things are currently, makes 0 sense. Because if extended is X-Wing, then why the hell does hyperspace exist?
Yeah, and I can't remember the last time I made a hyperspace list, as in clicked the hyperspace option in the squad builder.
Correct.
And built a hyperspace list.
Yeah, because at some point in time, we all came to grips with the fact that extended is X-Wing. That is what the competitive format is. Why does hyperspace even exist anymore?
If I was going to fly hyperspace now, I would just take one of the new factions. I would probably, if I was going to fly hyperspace, I'd probably fly Separatist or Republic.
Yeah.
Because nothing changes for me, really.
Precisely. So yeah, like you hit a sore spot on that one. In my Kris has got it right. I think that there was a plan going in, and that plan changed, and now we are where we are. At some point in time, they're just going to drop the name and say X-Wing's X-Wing. But again, like I said, I go back to that, like Kris's example. If the Alpha Wing is a top tier ship and I can't buy one, that's a problem.
Okay, I think that's all of our questions. I saved the best one till last.
I could go on. I could go on for an hour. We could have an entire In Focus just on that if you really wanted to, and just hearing me lament about, because what it could have been so cool. Like it.
I'll tell you what, Ed. I'll take you up on that. I'll let you rant for 15 minutes once we're done, and I'll just publish it on Patreon.
That's perfect. We'll do that. Yeah. So if you want to hear more. Let's roll right into that. You've got some house cleaning you can do.
Yeah, so I did I did remind people that we actually have a Lack of Focus group on Facebook as well as our Facebook page. So we've got like 1,500 people like and follow us on Facebook. And then we made a group, but it didn't really do anything with it because it was for Patrons only at first. But then we only had like 4 Patrons, so it's a bit of a lonely house. And basically it's Chad's meme factory. But so I opened that up to everyone and then just basically get people. So 21 people in there right now, still pretty quiet, but if you want somewhere to actually have constructive, non-toxic talk about X-Wing, feel free to join in and ask questions, tell us why we're terrible at the game. We'll probably just laugh at you and move on with our lives because we don't care about being good. We lean into being shit. It's better. But yeah, make sure you check us out on Facebook at Lack of Focus Podcast and the Lack of Focus Podcast group. I'm going to have to double check. Yeah. Lack of Focus Podcast group. That's what it's called. Easy. Then if you want to email us anything, you can email us at lackoffocuspodcast@gmail.com. Had a couple of things come through, but I've been checking the email all the time and try and keep on top of that. Then, obviously, we have our Patreon. I try and not push it too much at the start of the show or throughout it, but it's really a big help. I've had a couple more people sign up recently, so thank you, everybody. We just double check so I don't mispronounce names. We had Mark Leith, I think, Lyth.
Ooh, that sounds about right.
Yeah. He signed up, so thank you kindly. And Will, who says Calgary local, he was supposed to come in and play me on Tuesday and didn't come.
Aww.
That's why I didn't get my games in. It's your fault, Will. But our 2 newest patrons, so thank you kindly. Really appreciate all of the help. We're actually at the point now where the Patreon just about covers the editing software. So I'm almost not losing money by editing the show.
Ooh.
So I think I'm still paying for the actual hosting on Podbean and SoundCloud, and obviously all of the other stuff and like the equipment and things. But we're almost not losing money.
Yay! That's a good start.
If it keeps growing at this rate, we'll be able to actually afford to send out all of the Patreon swag that we send out.
We're getting there. Slowly but surely. It's been a year, but we're getting there.
No, and I want to stress again, guys, we don't have multiple tiers where you get better swag the more money you give us. We're not interested in that. We don't do a Patreon to actually make money as much as it helps, and I do really appreciate it. We try and keep it to like $1 here and there, like whatever you can afford. It's per episode, so if you only want to give $1 a month, make sure you set your monthly cap so that it doesn't come out every time we release. You can do that in your Patreon options. Just click $1 and then set your maximum monthly payment to $1, and you'll only get charged once. You still get all the same swag as everybody else. Some people just get it sooner. I think it's like once you've given us $10, effectively, that's when I try and ship your stuff off. I do it in block shipping now, but it's fine. I have, after Mark and Will, we still have a couple of the lack of target lock tokens left, so they'll be signed up, and I have bags and bags of Roger tokens, bags of them.
I think I've got lots. I don't think I've gotten any of those, Chris.
No, I've not sent them out yet.
Okay.
I need to peel the plastic off the back of them, and Kris still needs to cut me another 60, I think. So they'll be going out in November. I want to get them out before Christmas for people. But yeah, they'll be going out soon. Then what else do we have? Email, Patreon, Facebook. You can find us on SoundCloud, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play. If there's a format you want to be able to listen to us on and can't find us, let me know and I'll look into it. And yeah, that's about it, I think. I'm sure there's other stuff. Chad used to be really good at this, and I'm like trying to fill his shoes, but
we'll get him back. Well. We will get him back.
Yeah, I suppose you can follow me personally on Instagram if you like. That is DiceHateChris on Instagram and Twitter. But I tend not to use Twitter anymore because I get depressed at like world politics. I was undecided if we should title the show something to do with Hong Kong or not. So
no, prefer not. We'll get banned out of the Chinese government by that way.
Oh dear.
We haven't talked. We haven't even had a chance to talk about your boy Boris, man. No plan is good plan.
No, I'm Canadian now. I'll just be homeless. It's fine. It's okay. I don't need a country.
All right. I'll real quick again. If you have any interest whatsoever in the Magic the Gathering arena world, of course, take a look at my YouTube channel. That is Old Guy Gaming on YouTube. And if you're interested at all in retro gaming, I have just gotten my confirmation number. My Atari 2600 will be here on Tuesday. Yep, I got the email while we were sitting here, so like I've got my confirmation number. So I'm gonna do an unboxing video and how to hook it up to HDTV and how to play 40-year-old games on a modern TV. It'll be oodles of fun, and I can't wait. It's gonna be I can't wait. It's gonna be tons of fun. So that's gonna. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so I do have one before you close out. We will definitely record an in focus right after this because we didn't talk about Joker. So we can do Joker and hyperspace ranting for like half an hour or whatever. As soon as we're done, we'll just roll right into it.
All right, rolls right into it. Okay, sounds good. So all right, so that's something to look forward to. You don't even need to be a Patreon. Just hop over to the page and be able to listen to it from there. It'd be better if you did, though. It'd be super awesome for Kris. So all right, so I appreciate it. We will obviously come in and do probably a post-Worlds show, kind of review a list, see how well our horrible gambling did on those lists. So yeah, so until next time, guys, fly casual. Thank you once again for joining the Lack of Focus X-Wing podcast. Check out Dice Hate Productions for all the latest episodes, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again next episode.